Hello viewers, Tactics here, and today I will be showing you guys the serial encoder. Now this thing is really cool because what does it allow you to do? It allows you to send a potentially infinite amount of information through one wire and decode it. So infinite amounts of information through one wire, that's pretty amazing, and it's really compact. This is the entire thing. Now you might be like, oh, that's really big, but you know, whatever. You try building a serial encoder that isn't this big. So, if I hit this, as you can see, the information 0101 travels through this wire. This one wire, nothing is connecting these two units but this one wire. And it goes through, gets decoded, 0101, 0101, matches. Then we can flush out the information like this. Alright, so I'm going to be giving you guys a tutorial on how to build this and an explanation on it, so that you can understand it if you're interested. If you've ever done redstone computing, then you may know what this is, but otherwise, you probably don't know. It's probably very new to you. So I'm going to build it while I'm explaining it to save you guys time, and as I build, I will explain each part. So let's build ourselves a serial encoder. So here's what we're going to do. Decide how many bits you want. A bit is simply a piece of information. It can either be on or off. That's what a bit is. So it is a piece of information that can hold two states, on or off. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide how many bits we want. We're just going to use 4 for this example. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like our other one over there. We're going to do this, and then we're going to have sticky pistons facing down on the block just like this. Break the ones in the middle, and now we're going to have repeaters here where I'm putting the quartz. We're going to have them on the quartz just like that, and then we're going to create sort of a line like this, and I'm just using the quartz to demonstrate how it's wired and how it's supposed to look. Then we're going to have one wire through this. That way all the information can be sent through one wire. We're also going to need to make our inputs. To make our inputs, all you do, block here, lever, then you get a lamp. Oh, we already have a lamp. Put it on top of these bits. So now let's see what we've done so far. So far we have this. I'll explain this in a second. And these are the bits. So through every one of these, information is going to be sent. The thing is, if this lever is flicked, it will send an on signal. If the lever is not flicked, it will not send anything, and that will be read as a 0 because of the signal bit, which I'm going to build in a second. So we can send some information, or we can send power or not send power. Not sending power will correlate to a 0, which, by the way, is not the same as no information. It is a 0 or a 1, two different states. So I can have a piston here. We're going to have a monostable circuit. I'm going to put repeater here, lead it out like this. Oops. Do not have these set to any delay at all, unless I tell you so. Then we're going to have a piston here. You can also use a sticky piston and a block. If you're in survival, which you probably won't be building this in survival, but if you are, you're probably crazy. And if you are, then you put a piston here and sand to save yourself a sticky piston. So, I'm going to get my lamps back out, because I like lamps. I'm going to put redstone here, block here. Then we're going to get a button, put it right here. And as you're going to be able to see in a second, our signal bit is going to send information. Let's say without it, as you can see, it's sending no information through any of these blocks. So pay attention to this repeater. Nothing goes through it. So I do this, we're going to see the information 1010 go through it. So it's going to turn on, off, on, off. We have to watch quickly. I'll do it from this angle. Okay, so you guys didn't see it turn on twice. That's because the information flows so quickly you're not really going to see it. We're going to have to separate it more. And then maybe you'll be able to see it. As you saw, 2 bits of information just went through 1010, and it worked out perfectly. I just had to separate it more. But the decoder is very fast, unlike my eyes, so it's going to have no trouble reading all of this information that's being sent through it very fast. So what this signal bit does now is, imagine that you're sending a 0 first. How is the decoder going to know that you're sending a 0 if it's not sending any power first? Because this right here is the same as sending a 0, right? So the problem with that is it's all based on timing. So we have to send a signal bit to let it know, hey, we're sending information, and if you don't get a piece of information, or if you don't get power in the next tick, then this piece of information will be classified as a 0. And if you have any other pieces of information that are not, or power that's not sent through at certain times, it's going to be 0. Sorry guys, I'm bad at speaking. So as you can see, we have our encoder here. Now we got to make our decoder unit. And by the way, you can have as much delay as you want between the encoder and the decoder. You can have as many repeaters. It's not going to make any difference, so long as you don't set the delay to like 4 or something, as long as you keep it at 1, because otherwise this is going to happen. All the information is going to get mixed. So if I hit this right here is going to happen. Right? So you saw it get sent all at once, whereas with the 1 tick, we saw an on-off pulse. Now, we can't have it getting mixed, so as long as you have it to 1 tick, you shouldn't have any problems. Okay. So, we're going to make our decoder now. We need 4 repeaters for this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to put blocks with redstone on top. For some reason, it will not decode correctly if there isn't redstone on top. I don't know why. Technically, this shouldn't happen, but it does anyway, so be sure to put redstone on top. And I'm going to put lamps so you have a better visual than redstone, and you'll be able to see the lamps match up with the same information. So as you can see, this is only 1 wire. You just watched me build this. So, yeah, I'm just going to move this a little bit. Give me a second. I only have to move it 1. I'm breaking my other decoder, or encoder. So, we're going to put another repeater with a block. This one does not have to have redstone on top of it. In fact, you don't want to put redstone on top of it. Then, I'm just going to put quartz to outline where I'm going to place my redstone and repeaters. Just because I'm OCD like that. Everyone in Minecraft is OCD. So, I'm going to run redstone down this line. Put repeaters here, like so. And, we're going to have a piston here, and I'll explain why in a second. So you guys already know how the encoder works. I've explained the signal bit, I've explained this line right here. Maybe part I didn't explain is that you have to have delay between each signal, or else it'll get all mixed together, so that's the only thing I didn't say. Now we're going to explain this decoder. So basically what this is going to do, it's going to separate out the information, right? So through this repeater, you saw the signal go through it, right? Well, the signal's going to go through all these repeaters. So right here, let's say I had on, off. In these repeaters, we're going to have an on, off signal. Now, if you just stood here, you hit that button, and at the exact right time, you took a screenshot, you could see these lamps and these repeaters match up. Because these repeaters are going to match because the information it's sending is going straight through them. And the problem with this is that the information you're sending through does not stay, right? So it will eventually pass itself on. Let's say this isn't here. It passes itself on into this block and then just disappears and goes away. We don't want that. We want the information to be locked, and that's why we're taking advantage of the new 1.5 repeater locks. They're not really that new, but It's the first time I've actually used them in a video, so they're pretty new to me. So basically what's going to go on is it's going to lock all of these repeaters at the exact right time using the signal bit, which goes before any other bit, and tells it to lock all the information in place. So now I'm going to do this and put a torch here. This repeater, or this piston, will basically control this line right here. And the problem is, when the signal bit goes through and it locks all the information in, hold on, like that. Why is it not working? Why is it not working? Oh, I see the problem. So let's say we send information through, it's gonna lock it all in, and the problem is we have no way of unlocking this information without breaking redstone. So what we're gonna do is we put the piston here, we invert it by default, and then we're gonna run a line over here. You don't actually have to run it all the way over here, I just do so that both buttons are really close and I can press them easily. So just like this, and we put a block with a button. So now, as you can see, just to prove, you can put any amount of delay through this. It will still encode the same because all the information you're sending through is being delayed by the same amount. I'm not going to do that though, just for demonstration. I'm just going to use one repeater so it's not really slow. And just to show you the speed of this, whenever I hit this, it encodes and decodes really fast. That must have been in under 2 seconds. And if you have a encoder and decoder bigger than 4 bits, I definitely recommend having a lever here, because otherwise you're going to have to press the button a whole lot to get all the information to clear completely. Right? So you know how all this works. I've explained this all to you and I've showed it to you. Now there's an exception. What if you have a really long line because you're sending like 10 bits through this and you're decoding 10 bits? What you want to do is you're going to have to place a repeater in order to keep the signal going from the last bit, right? Well, the problem is this whole system is based on timing, so how are you going to keep the time correct when you add a repeater? Well, you're going to count. That's the answer. So let's say we add delay to the last bit. Well, this bit here will match up with this bit in the decoder. So all we need to do is delay the signal bit in the decoder. So the problem here is that you're delaying the signal from this bit, but the signal bit that locks all the information in is not being delayed. Therefore, it's going to lock the information in before the information even reaches it, and that's a problem. So this is bit 1. It's delayed by 1. So we're going to go over here. This is where it will end up. We want to delay its locking by 1 tick. So we just put a repeater here. Problem solved. That's how you fix it. And let's say you had one here. You would just count once again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you lock one right here. Lock the 3rd bit. And then you could send it all through. And it would decode just as flawlessly as it did without any delay at all. So that's how you fix that problem, because you're eventually going to run into that if you have a big serial decoder. Now the problem is that... Okay, now I wasn't sure about adding this part because it's going to make the video longer, but I just wanted to show you a cool idea that I had. It's that, what if you took a black box and you put this encoder in it? Nobody could see the encoder, they could only see the line coming out of the encoder. And let's say someone good at redstone tried to hook it up to a decoder to find the information you were sending and just interpret it, see what it meant. Well, if you don't want them seeing it, you can actually encode it and encrypt it. That's the word I'm looking for. You can encrypt the information in 4 different ways. So, thing is, you're gonna have to encrypt it like this. If you're gonna encrypt it and add all these delays, you can't just have one with no delay. They must all be repeaters. So if you're planning on encrypting it so that only you or another person with the encryption combination can read it, then you can do this. You add repeaters after each bit. It's going to make your machine slower, but that's just how it is. Encrypting is going to make it slower. So what's going to happen here is that, as you saw, we had to delay the signal and we had to match it up with the equal one. Just for example, I'll just do 1. So let's say we add a tick to this, we would match it and add a tick to this, right? Or add a tick again, we had 4 ticks. We would have to add 4 ticks to that one and it would match up right. Okay, so I thought, wait a second, what if I had a whole bunch of repeaters, even though I don't need them, I just add them, and I put random delays on them. Then, if I had this surrounded in a black box where no one could see it, one line coming out, if they tried to decrypt the information and decode it, they would just get gibberish, right? We have 1010, let's pick a new combination, that's getting old. Let's do 0001. We send it through, it sends back gibberish, right? It has 0000 as the information, right? And that's not our information. Our information is 0001. So what you have to do is you have to know the combination that you put on these repeaters. So the first bit is delayed by 3 ticks. So we're going to delay it by 3 ticks. Second bit is delayed by 4 ticks. Third bit is delayed by 2 ticks. So 4 ticks, 2 ticks, and then the last bit is delayed by, what is that? 3 ticks again. 3 ticks. That's good. Okay. Alright, so, I think we're ready. So, now that we have the correct delays, all we have to do is press this button. Boom. I actually didn't think it was going to work there for a second, because it was going slow, but, you know, when you're decrypting it, it's going to go slow like that. So, if you don't want it to go very slow, then don't add too much delay. Let's say 1 tick, or no, that's not 1 tick, that is 2 ticks. 3 ticks, 1 tick, 1 tick. So we have the number 3, or 2, 3, 1, 1. I can do that. So we're going to do 2, 3, 1, 1, and then it will decode perfectly, or it should. If you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, or you're not following my Facebook or Twitter blogger, then go ahead and do those things. I will leave them in the description below, so I make it really easy. That will keep you up to date on everything I'm doing. I don't post very often like many people do, but I post sometimes, so to stay up to date, go follow me and subscribe for more videos. Hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye.